Yeah, so it's really important to do your work, and it's an investment. One thing I learned from Anthony Robbins is be an investor. Invest, invest, invest. I looked at, I'm presenting in front of you today, and 2000, I think it was around 2000 when I was in with Gary Craig, and he said, you can help more people if you gave seminars. My mind gave me an image that I was giving seminars in front of a lot of people. And then, of course, I went to this guy, and I decided there's a model of thinking that says be, do, have. I am, therefore I do, and I have because of who I am. Which, at that time, I made up this little mantra in my head: I'm the greatest presenter of all time. It's just something I don't tell many people about because they just don't realize how great I am yet. And the weird thing is if it's only inside you, it's still good. You know what I mean? It's interesting. If you have this, we all carry an ideal about ourselves, within ourselves. And that's why you do what you do to yourself. Now, some of these ideas were created or given to you by experiences from your past. So one of the things is with the art of change, we go and we start changing those stories. And as you start changing those stories, and all of a sudden today's performances are different. So over a period of time, investing, because I was, as I mentioned yesterday, I bought the NLP, bought a tape series at the cassette set at a garage sale, started listening to it. Then I went to EFT, bought the course, $160 course from Gary Craig. And then I started tapping on my family, and they all started running from me at one point in time. And then I thought, well, where do I go? So I went and got a massage. I don't know who told me. I don't know if it was God or the devil, but I listened. And then I enrolled in massage school, and the first one I got kicked out of because of tapping. The guy had had emotional issues. And then the second one, because I was zealous because I wanted to figure out how it worked, and discovering when I went to massage, I discovered that the mind and the body are connected together. They work as a team. And then I enrolled in massage school. The second one, I paid for it all up front. It's $2,500, and I stayed there for a long time. You're supposed to take tests. You take your tests and all that stuff. And I took the first one, and the rest of it, I just didn't care about taking tests, because, heck, you get 3 massages a week, and you get, and I'm learning, and I'm sharing the tapping and all this stuff. And eventually they said, Shelley goes, Robert, you probably should just kind of move on, here, take the test home, do it at home, like everybody else had to do it in a room with everybody watching them, So anyway, they actually said, just leave, and I did. And then I said, this tapping, if I really did this tapping, like a lot, I could be really good at this. That was my thinking. And in massage school is where FasterEFT started to develop because, I bought the EFT course and I started adding things to it. And since I'm in Oklahoma, and Oklahoma is the Bible Belt of the world, and, the Christians, they're really interesting creatures, there's like 1 billion different sects, all of them are all the right one, and everybody else is wrong, and I want to fit, because I'm Christian, I was raised Christian, so I wanted to fit where anybody can accept this, and I said, what is it really? Is it really energy? What is it really? There's some kind of mechanical thing going on, and then that's how I understand the stress and all this stuff, and so I started investing in trying to know how it works. Then when I started presenting, I said, if I presented and I gave seminars, I could be really good one day, And so that's another way I was investing. And then I started videotaping every seminar. And of course, I started producing VHS tapes, which it was a long, laborious process. And, and I bet there may be one tape out there in the world. Who knows? But I started recording everything. And then I watched a YouTube video where somebody's doing EFT, and I said, God, people need something better than that. That's my thinking, So my first video was in October of 2007. All right? So it actually was removed, too. It was a lady who had a tornado fear, and she didn't want it up there, and so it was removed. And then I just kept uploading videos. Now that snowballed, because then now you're here because of the videos. I actually started selling DVDs. I bought stuff and I homemade DVDs, and now I have I recently last year I bought a company. I bought an office building, 3,200 square foot office building in Oklahoma City, and I have a staff of 8 people helping me. And I don't even know how to run a business. I can talk, I can tap you, So there's a lot of things that have been going on with this business stuff. And, I just so thankful that God has brought me good people in my life. I have a guy named Romero. He actually lives in the neighborhood I just moved out of. I lived 26 years in a mobile home. Something that had taillights on the back of it. 26 years, and now I have a house, a real house. A 4,500 square foot home. And, I think, God, is this really mine? Oh no, it's the bank's. So I started investing. And from my investments, I knew things would grow up. Now, the reason why I'm making this point is that investing in yourself takes small steps. Doing one simple thing is make a decision to start tapping on yourself anytime you feel something that's disruptive. One step. If you just do that consistently, your life will begin to change. If you take other steps, like when you realize when Nicola is talking about me and she's bitching and griping, what I do inside my head, I go, she's talking about herself. If you just do that one thing, when somebody starts bitching and griping at you, and just realize she's talking about herself. Or you could be the other one. The other one is saying, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? Did I brush my teeth this morning? You're going to start looking for a way to find something wrong with you. This is a typical way of thinking. So if you just do those two things, God, everything will be so much better. You won't even let things bother you, These are just little investments. Just keep investing, and realizing everything inside your head. If you get this idea, everything inside my head is really me. Get another idea that if it's inside my head and memories aren't really real, you can actually change them. It's just a fantasy world in there. It's not even really real. Now, there are some things that are useful, 5 times 5 is what? Just pops right in. That's useful. Now, and this is how the mind works. So these are some of the little things. So how many of you actually went inside yourself and started finding some interesting things? Or found something you didn't know was there? Congratulations. All right, so today's our tapping day. So we're going to do a lot of tapping. You're going to volunteer. We're going to get up here and we'll work on you and we'll clean you up. There is something that you have to be aware of, is you have to take full responsibility for your problems. Because Cindy's going to come up, or somebody else is going to come up, and Cindy's going to talk about her dog who died, or her grandfather, her chicken, or her frog, whatever happens, and then all of a sudden you're going to be feeling emotions. The fact is, her energy cannot get you. You supply the meaning that everything happens up here. Now, she may stir up your ideas and your issues inside you, but these were there long before you ever arrived here in Las Vegas in this seminar. Does that make sense? So, and say, for example, you feel like shit because of what's going on. Rejoice in the fact you're on the verge of healing. If you do one thing, tap. If you do not tap, you get to re-experience it, rehearse it, and maybe you can make it even worse. Good job.